Hi, welcome to Love Unfiltered. I'm Dwayne.
And I'm Sherry.
And welcome to episode 1.
Episode 1, y'all! Woo!
In this episode, we're going to explore how we first met.
And, how he decided, that, did you want to marry me? Was it love at first sight?
Or how did she know she wanted to marry me some 30 plus years ago?
Oh, okie dokie. And so we were both stationed in Hawaii, Honolulu, and I was new on base, and so he saw me, and he was like, damn!
I didn't just see her. A friend of mine I worked with, he calls me at work, and he said, hey, man, when you get off, stop by my barracks room. I want to introduce you to this new girl that just moved in next door to me. I said, okay. So I did that. And when I first met her, she was, I think, changing the sheets on her bed or something.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I had just moved in. I sure was.
Yes, I remember this like it was almost yesterday.
And I saw him and I was like, oh, because he had a hairy chest. And I was like, ooh, he got a hairy chest. That's what
God.
I was like, oh, it's sexy.
I used to have a high top fade.
And he had a high top fade too. I was like, ah! But okay. So anyway.
Yeah, so moving on. Some days or maybe a couple weeks go by or whatever. The next time I see her is on a Sunday. Mm-hmm. She's walking back to the barracks from church.
Right.
And I think I'm driving wherever, but we're still on base and I'm driving.
Probably coming home from the club or something.
No, this is like...
Because I was coming from church. I don't know where he was coming from.
This is maybe like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, right? Uh-huh. And I see her walking and I stop her and ask her if she wanted to ride. And she was like, no, that's okay. It's a nice day out. I'd rather walk.
It was.
So when I drove away, I'm like, I'm going to marry her.
And I didn't, and what made you think I'm going to marry her? Like, we only probably had seen each other a couple of times, a couple of interactions. So what made you think?
Right.
Because I was coming from church.
Right. She was looking all fly in that little outfit she had on. Tall, sexy, walking down the street, and I'm like,
And I was surprised because
one of these days she's going to be my wife.
And you know what surprised me? Like, we was just talking about this a couple of years ago. Not a couple of years ago. Well, yeah, I guess a couple of years ago. And he was telling me the outfit I had on that day I was coming from church. And I was like, wow, you remember what I had on that day?
I still remember what you had on that day. So it was a light blue flower summery skirt, and she had a blue and white striped shirt on. She had the sleeves rolled up like halfway on,
3/4,
right? Had it buttoned down mid chest or whatever, and I was like, had her hair all slicked back into a little,
yeah. So I was just shocked that he remembered that what I was wearing. We discussed this like years ago, and so I was like, wow, okay. And so, do you think that and do you think all men know when they're going to marry the girl they're dating or anything like that?
I think after a certain point of dating, I think men know that, and women also, that this is the one.
Right, but the woman might know that, oh, I want to marry this dude, but in our society, it's not the norm for the woman to make the move to say, hey, I want to marry you. That's on the man.
Right, it's just tradition, I think.
Right.
It's a traditional thing. So anyways, a couple weeks go by or whatever, and she asked me out on a date out on a date to go to the movies.
I didn't ask you on a date to
go to the movies. It wasn't on a date? You didn't consider it a date?
No, I was supposed to go to the movies with this other guy from work as a friend. And then I find out that he's messing around with this girl that we work with, and she was like, you can't take her to no doggone movies. And so then, and it was New Jack City, and I really wanted to see New Jack City, remember? And so then I asked you, could you take me to the movies to see New Jack City?
Because I had a car.
Because he had a car, right. And so he was like, yeah, I'll take you to the movies to see New Jack City.
So we go and see New Jack City. We come back, we set up in the car, talking. I guess we got back from the movies about 11:30, midnight-ish or whatever. But we sat in the car just talking, and next thing you know, it's daylight outside.
Right. And I was like, whoa.
Right.
Yeah.
And at that point, we hadn't kissed,
right.
we hadn't done anything. Right?
Right. Right. Because I was dating someone else.
Ooh.
I was dating someone else. So that's why I said it wasn't on a date or anything. We just,
and no, I wasn't dating anyone.
He wasn't dating anyone. He was single. And I was
very single.
But my boyfriend then, he was back somewhere in the States and I was in Hawaii. And so then what happened after that?
Oh, I just kind of swept you off your feet.
Woo, swept! And so then I broke it off with my...
Absolutely, she broke it off.
I broke it off with the guy I was dating back in the States. And so then we started dating. And so at one point, we both went home. I went home. We went to New Orleans. He's from New Orleans. And so everybody thought we was...
Where's that accent, Woody?
That lady. I can't do it. But we went back to New Orleans, and I had sisters who went to St. Xavier.
Xavier University.
Oh, Xavier University, and I had a sister who was in med school there. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to go see my sisters, and he was going home to see his family. So everybody thought we were going off to get married and stuff. It's like, y'all going to get married? We was like, we're not going to get married. We only been knowing each other. How long was this now? About a year?
Yeah, about a year.
Right.
But in my mind, I'm going to introduce her to my family.
And so then I met his mother and I met his father. And you know what his father said to me? Do you know what your father said? He was like, can she cook? And then I was like, no, I can't cook. And then I said, I'm good at other things. This is what I said to his father. And he was like, well, that ain't going to last forever. I was like, and that's true. And you find out after 30-something years, that don't last forever. Okay.
Yeah, so anyway, so I guess almost 3 years of dating?
No, 2.
2 years of dating. And I asked her to marry me.
This ring.
I put a ring on it, y'all.
And so apparently I said yes. And so then we got married in 1994. We got married in Chicago. I'm from Chicago.
We had a big old to-do wedding.
New Orleans came through. Everybody
in the house.
Everybody from New Orleans came through. It was a big event. They rented a charter bus. His mom and them got a charter bus. Everybody came to Chicago. We got married. We paid for our own wedding.
Yes, right down the middle.
Right
With the exception of she paid for her wedding gown.
Right.
I got my tux free, y'all.
Right, because from your groomsmen.
Right.
I paid for my wedding gown, and I paid for your ring, and you paid for my ring.
Everything else, we paid right down the middle.
And on later episodes, we'll talk about finances and how we handle finances and what we think is best. And maybe it'll work out for you, too. But, yeah, we paid for our wedding.
Right.
And I think our parents might have bought, like, something or whatever. But we mainly paid for our...
What did our parents buy?
Oh, okay.
But a hard time.
They wanted their way.
Right.
We ain't going to even talk about what my mother did.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to throw her under the bus. We might cut
No,
this.
you're not throwing my mother-in-law.
Oh, okay.
Best mother-in-law, y'all. I have the best mother-in-law.
Yeah, I did too. And that'll be another episode talking about mother-in-laws and how they are in your relationship.
Right. So essentially, that's how we met. Right.
We met in paradise.
That's what you call Hawaii?
Yeah.
So essentially, that's how we met. So you guys need to think about how you. I know you know, but just give some thought to how you guys first met, and kind of reminisce on those times.
Oh yeah, we talk about it all the time. Our kids know the story of how we met. All our friends know the story on how we met. Of course, we embellish it, and you know, the story get bigger than life every time we tell the story and stuff.
Right.
Because he hounded me,
Right.
you know,
Of
in
course,
my story.
Of course, she flagged me down in the street and, you know, hey, stop. Hey,
Right.
remember me? Girl, stop.
So yeah, our kids know our story. Our grandkids are going to know our story. I'm a teacher. My students, you know, they pretty much know some of my story. I don't tell them too much. I'm a high school teacher. So the church members, they know our story. Everybody knows our story. And now you know our story. So share with us your story. How did you meet your loved one? Was it in Hawaii? Was it in Chicago, New Orleans, or someplace not so glamorous like
And for me,
San Antonio?
what attracted you to that person?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what attracted you to that person? For her, man, it was the long legs and the muscle built bend down there. She walking down the street like this. And I'm like, ooh.
But I was much slimmer then.
Whatever. All I remember was, ooh, and that stride. And I'm like, that girl gonna be mine.
Oh, okay.
And she's all mine, y'all.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Whatever. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all. Remember, we are wishing you love and happiness.